All right, section 4.2 is buying or selling a car, and we're going to look at some probability definitions and data. We have a few definitions here. We have an outlier. This is a piece of data that is extremely different than the rest of the data. So it's kind of like either way less or way more. We have a median. This is your middle value. If you have two middle numbers, you add those and divide by 2. Range. This is your max value minus your minimum value. We have quartiles. These divide the data into 4 parts. Okay, we have quartile 1, which is your first 25%. Quartile 2 is your median number. Quartile 3 is your next 25%. And quartile 4 is your max value. We'll do some examples with that shortly. We have interquartile range. This is Q3 or quartile 3 minus quartile 1. Okay, this is the spread of the middle 50%. And then that last definition we're not going to do. 2 additional definitions that I just want to refresh you guys on. We have mean, which is your average, and we have mode, which is the most used number. If you have 2 modes, so say a number is used twice and you have a second number used twice, that would be considered no mode because you don't have one number that's used the most. Okay? So let's get into a few examples. It says find the mean, median, and mode range for each data set given. Okay, so the first thing you want to do when you're given a set of numbers is you want to arrange them from least to greatest. So I did that for part A. I took those numbers, 7, 12, 1, 7, 6, 5, and 11, and arranged them from least to greatest. Okay, by doing that, it allows you to find out what your middle number is. Okay, so for example, I'm going to take off 1 from the left, I'm going to take off 1 from the right. 1 from the left, 1 from the right. 1 from the left, 1 from the right. And now notice you have one middle number, which is 7. So 7 would be considered your median. Okay, your median. If you have 2 middle numbers, again, take the 2 middle numbers, add them together, and divide it by 2, and that gives you your new median number. Okay? Mean, you add them all up, 1 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 7 plus 11 plus 12, and divide it by however many numbers there are. In this case, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. So add them all up, divide it by 7, and you get your mean or your average. Mode is the most commonly used number. So here you'll notice that 7 is used twice. Okay, that's the most used number, so that is your mode. And range is your highest number, which is 12, minus your lowest number, which is 1. Okay, so for number 1, you got a lot of parts here. I already did these for you guys, so you guys can just check your answer. I do want to point out one thing. If you look at question or letter number B, you'll notice that you have no number that is repeated, so you have no mode. Okay. Notice for problem number or letter number D, okay, you have 10 which is used twice and you have 7 which is used twice. So you don't have any number that's used the most. You have 2 numbers that are both used twice, but you don't have one specific number, so that would also be no mode. Okay, so mean is average, median is the middle. Okay, so if you arrange them from least to greatest, you could easily find the median. Mode is the most commonly used number, and range is high minus low. So that should help with number 1. Okay. Problem number 2. It says Courtney wants to sell her grandfather's antique 1932 Ford. She begins to set her price by looking at ads and finds these prices: $24,600, $19,000, $33,000, $15,000, and $20,000. What is the mean price? Mean is average, so you add up all those numbers. Okay, $24,600 plus $19,000 plus $33,000 plus $15,000 plus $20,000 divided by however many numbers there are. In this case, there's 5, and it gives you an average of $22,320. Problem number 3, it says Roseanne is selling her Corvette. She wants to include a photo of her car in the ad. 3 publications give her prices for her ad with the photograph. You have $59, you have $71, and you have $50. Part A says, what is the mean price of these ads? Well, add up all 3, divide it by 3, so 59 plus 71 plus 50 divided by 3 gives you a $60 mean or average. Part B says, what would it cost her to run all 3 ads? Okay, so if she wanted to put her car in all 3 ads, you add up those 3 numbers. Okay, 59 plus 71 plus 50, which gives you $180. Part C. If each of these 3 newspapers use the mean price as their ad price, what would it cost Roseanne to run ads in all 3 papers? Okay, well, you added all 3 together. 59 plus 71 plus 50 in Part B, we got 180. Okay, if you were to take the mean of 180, which we divided by 3, gives you $60. If she wanted to run it in all 3, 3 times 60 is 180. Find the range of these ad prices. Well, the highest ad was Glen Head Buyer, $71. The lowest one was Floral Park Money Saver, which was $50. 71 minus 50 gives you $21. Number 4. It says Elliot is saving to buy a used car next year on his 18th birthday. He plans on spending $6,000. How much must he save each week if he plans to work the entire year with only 2 weeks off? Okay, so he plans on spending $6,000. Okay, so we're going to start with our $6,000. There are 52 weeks in a year. He's going to take 2 weeks off, so there's really only 50 weeks that he is working. So 6,000 divided by 50 gives you $120 per week that he must save. Number 5. The quartiles of data are quartile 1 is 50, quartile 2 72, quartile 3 110, and quartile 4 140. Find the interquartile range. This is where you do Q3 minus Q1. Q3 was 110, Q1 was 50, so 110 minus 50 gives you 60 for your interquartile range, or your IQR as it's also written, IQR. All right, now let's get into actually how we find our Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Okay, so it says Bill is looking for original taillights for his 1932 Ford. The prices vary depending on the condition. He finds these prices: $450, $100, $180, $600, $300, $350, $300, and $400. I took those numbers and I put them in order from least to greatest. So 100 is your least, 600 is your max. Okay, I ordered those numbers from least to greatest. I then found my median. So I started to go from left to right, crossing out my numbers. So let me show you what that kind of looks like. So I want 100, 600, one on the left, one on the right. One on the left, one on the right. One on the left, one on the right. Okay, and then notice I have 2 numbers that are left over, 300 and 350. So I don't have a median technically because I have 2 numbers. So I want to add those 2 numbers together. So 300 plus 350 gives me 650. Divided by 2 gives you 325. So your new median is right here at 325. Okay, that's why I kind of put it in between the 300 and the 350. So that's your median. We know our median is always going to be our second quartile. So Q2 is 325. Okay. Now everything to the left of 325, so everything in this direction, okay, everything to the left of 325 is going to be used in our first quartile. In order to find your first quartile, you have to find the median between these 4 numbers, everything to the left of 325. So you have 100, you have 180, you have 300, and you have 300. I have to find the middle, so it's going to be somewhere in here. Okay, it's going to be somewhere in here. Okay, in order to do that, again, I have 2 numbers, 180 and 300. I have to add 180 and 300 together, which gives me 480, divided by 2, which gives me 240. So your Q1 is the median of your first quartile. Okay, so 240 is going to be your Q1 value. Do a similar thing over here on the right for your Q3. Q3 is everything to the right of your median. So everything to the right of the median is 350, 400, 450, and 600. Same thing applies. If I start crossing out numbers, one on the left, one on the right, I'm left with 2 numbers here in the middle. Okay, 400, plus 450, I got to find what's in the middle there. What's in the middle there is going to be 425. So your Q3 value is 425. And your Q4 value is always your maximum number. In this case, it's 600. So that is how you find each quartile. Quartile 1 is the median of the left side. Quartile 3 is the median of the right side. Quartile 2 is the median of the whole set. And quartile 4 is the maximum value. Okay. Part B says interquartile range. Well, you take your Q3 value of 425, you take your Q2 value, or I'm sorry, your Q1 value of 240, subtract them, and it gives you 185. C and D we are not going to do. Okay, so that ends section 4.2.